Okay, so this is another attempt of getting the live streaming working, and I do apologize, but we tried this new tool that is LinkedIn live streaming to talk about the future of the workplace. So I'm going to run a few tests to see whether it's going to work, and I am going to record this live. So let's see whether it's going to work properly. So the reason why I decided to start having a look at the future of work is basically linked to the fact that I read lots of articles over the past few weeks talking about, oh, the office is dead, lots of bigger claims. And I'm thinking, is it actually the case? Well, my view is that it's not. What I think is that we are going to witness a change in the way that people are going to basically work, but the office or the headquarter is definitely not going to disappear anytime soon. So I actually I read several articles, especially trying to find what are reputable sources, because nowadays is actually one of the biggest problems. I mean, anyone can write and say whatever they want. So I actually found a really interesting article by Richard Florida on the Harvard Business Review, and it's actually the uncertain future of our corporate headquarters. And I really like the way that basically he outlined basically how things have changed from the manufacturing world to the world whereby people are literally working by selling and providing their own knowledge. Also, I think that the pandemic are basically accelerating a trend that has already been around, especially when it comes to solopreneur for a long time, because, for example, if you look at people that work alone and they basically work by literally using a laptop, a microphone, and they write from wherever on the planet, it's something that has been around for over 10 years. Of course, it takes a little bit longer for a bigger organization to change the way that they work, but COVID-19 has actually speeded up this trend, and now what we are seeing is that basically the world is changing when it comes to the way that people work. Is it going to be a permanent change? It depends, in the sense that remote work is not going to be just a temporary glitch in the system. For some people, actually, it's a glitch. Personally, I think it's a great opportunity, and I don't think that is going to go away. Now, whether it's going to have a massive impact on how people work, it depends on whether the vaccine is going to be found anytime soon or not. If, for example, a new vaccine will be a new and also effective vaccine will be available at the beginning of 2021, it's more likely that the changes are not going to be as drastic as, for example, changes that could occur if the vaccine basically will not be available for at least another year or 2 years. Because then, of course, it will become more ingrained in people's behaviors, the fact that they can work from, they can work remotely. Richard Florida highlighted how things have changed anyway already when it comes to the way that people work, because we have gone from an economy that was based mainly on manufacturing to a knowledge-based economy. He looked at the Fortune 500 companies back in 1955, and the top companies were basically General Motors, we got Mobil Oil, General Electric, and US Steel. And the place where they decided to put their location, so the headquarters, was based fundamentally on three different considerations. The first one was that they had to be close to where they could source their raw material. The second element was transporting the raw material into basically the factories, and then transporting finished goods to their markets. And this is the reason why basically places like Detroit and Pittsburgh became hubs for this type of organization. So they were based fundamentally on manufacturing. Then, little by little, companies created what they are called the branch plants. So other plants that were less expensive in satellite areas, let's say, and then basically again due to cutting costs for mostly labor costs, basically the decision was to move a good part of the manufacturing of the goods, so for example cars, etc., abroad. So in areas, especially in Asia, where the cost of labor is significantly lower. Another change has also hit the market, the economy in general, and the choice of where to put the location because of the advent of the high-tech knowledge-based corporation. Usually the decision of these corporations of where to put the location, so the headquarter, is based on the necessity to hire and retain high-skilled individuals. And high-skilled individuals tend to gather in specific areas. So, for example, when it comes to the US, close to the Silicon Valley, LA, so San Francisco, LA, or, for example, New York. And why these areas? Because it's actually where young people, and young is a word that was used by the author, so by Richard Florida. I don't want to be ageist, but it's actually linked to especially young individuals between 25 and 34. They tend basically to look for areas, live in areas where there are more job opportunities, probability to earn more money, the possibility to have a network that is going to support them also in a later stage in their career, and also the possibility to find people to enter into a relationship with, so to build a family, etc. So this is one of the main drivers when it comes to choosing a location, when it comes to companies like, for example, Amazon, actually are based in Seattle, when it comes to, for example, Apple, so Cupertino, when it comes to Google and all the rest of it. So the one of the main drivers when choosing where the headquarters is going to be is basically linked to this ability to attract and retain talent, and is a central factor in the choice of where the corporate location is going to be. This is also true for Europe. So you will see that the main hubs, for example, are places like London, places like Amsterdam, or places like Dublin. There are others, but these are basically some of the most. Also, Berlin actually is growing a lot when it comes to Europe. So basically what the effect of the pandemic very likely is going to be is that the headquarters is not going to go away, but we are actually assisting to a change in the way that the headquarters will be structured, in the sense that companies will still retain a headquarters, and this is going to be for for some functions. And also having a headquarters in one of these, highly desirable areas is going to be, because again, they want to have, it's going to be a branding effect, because if I got basically a headquarters that is based in a fancy building in a fancy location, again, it screams, success and this kind of stuff, according to some culture, I'm not saying according to everyone. Whereas if I got the headquarters sometimes in less, let's say, well-known area, for some people, I'm not saying for everyone, is actually not perceived as being as a desirable situation. So here we are going to have basically, very likely, a chunk of individuals that will work remotely, and that will actually have to go to the office once in a while. It could be once every fortnight, once a month. So they will be prepared, for example, to commute for over an hour, because it's going to be once in a while. Also, we have to think about the living aside the main areas. It's going to be cheaper. And therefore, people will have the chance to save more money, and also not having to commute on a daily basis means that, again, there are going to be significant savings when it comes to not having to spend money to commute. And if I have to commute, for example, spend €200 or $200 to go on a plane just to go in the office once in a blue moon, well, people very likely are going to do it. The bigger thing here is that people will be in the position to choose where they want to work. Of course, this is not going to happen for every single sector. This is going to happen for basically knowledge workers. If someone is working as in a production line, they will still actually have to go to the plant, even though there are again some thoughts about the importance of 3D printers. But again, I don't think that, with a 3D printer, you can do that much when, for example, you work in a company that is producing steel. So, again, this is a discussion that is working specifically for knowledge workers. So basically individuals that provide added value due to their knowledge and experience, but it's linked more to services rather than products. And so what we'll have, well, the risk here is to try to avoid creating a two-tier functions, because it could be perceived that those that are in the headquarter may be a sort of, most important functions, while the rest, well, you live in the suburbs, so, well, fair enough. Well, so we have to be very, very careful as organization to create a two-tier organization, which is not conducive to better performance and also to basically getting people to embrace the company culture and also to mingle basically with the other colleagues. Also, there is another trend that we have to take into consideration, which is, for example, the fact that at least in the short term, companies will still need to provide safety. So companies still need to be in big headquarters, because even though just a small minority of individuals are going to be part of those that are going into the office, I'm talking about when there is not a lockdown, the social distancing is going to be a biggie. And therefore, even though, for example, we got only 20% of the workforce that is going to the office on a daily basis, or more, like a couple, 2 or 3 times a week, well, the company still needs a bigger space, because they need basically to provide social distancing. And this is also something that explains the reason why Facebook, actually, they signed a lease in August 2020 for 730,000 square feet in New York City. So one side, because again, we go for the prestige of the location, and we go for the fact that they want to attract talent and retain talent. But on the other side, that for those that will be in the position to go to the office, because there is no lockdown, of course, they need more space, because at least in the, we hope, short term, they need to guarantee safety and social distancing. There is something that I mentioned, which is this interesting study by the CBRE, and it's called Evolving Location Strategies, the Era of COVID-19. It's an interesting report. It's about the US, but some of the findings, of course, can be applied also when it comes to Europe. So I hope that this time the recording is working. So apologies if it's not super polished, but as I said, this is an experiment. So I want to see and test the technology live. Of course, I would be pleased if you could actually leave your comments on what you think about this topic. So do you think that the corporate headquarters is going to go away in the future? Do you think that the office is a thing of the past, because going to work to the office is not going to be actually relevant anymore? So again, let's keep a discussion, of course, civilized discussion, alive, and I would really be pleased if you could leave your comments in the comment box. Also, I'm going to actually stream another live soon. What I'm going to do, basically, I am going to, something that I do on an ongoing basis, to be honest, is to look at the trends and what is important when it comes to the world of business. I focus a lot on change management, being a change management practitioner, but I'm also pleased, to share other ideas, again, that I take from reputable resources. So that could be, for example, reputable newspapers, business journals or business magazines. If you got any requests as to what you would like to see covered in the next edition of these live streamings, I will also try to find a name for them as well. Please, again, leave a comment and I will be pleased to consider the suggestion and see, of course, what I can do in order to comply with it. Thank you so much, and we see you next time.